Hey. All right. So the trouble with making sure this auto records also means that it starts immediately. I got crazy light coming in too. I didn't plan for that. All right. So I am going to jump in because I am limited in Zoom with, hang on, I'm going to adjust here just a little bit more. So you're going to have to see some more of my kitchen than normal, but that way you don't have to watch the TV. I only have 40 minutes because I still have the free version because it's cheap. I want to make sure I stay on track, and I don't trust my memory because I just don't. And I also scheduled the other meeting today, and I'm recording it in an hour. And I want to make sure I stay on track, and I don't want to mix up my topics because they're real similar. All right, that's what. You guys get to see my little office gnome. My office is a hot mess right now too. Anyway, welcome leaders. I am so sorry that we got kinds of weird lighting going on here. I should have just done this in the bedroom. Maybe. Oh, that helps. All right, that's a whole lot better. Not the best I can do, but it's the best I can do for right now. So let's get started and let's talk about just life, y'all. So this is a very real tension point that I have been working through myself. I've been experiencing a lot of frustration in this COVID-19 season. The kids have been home with me since March 13th, so that's going on 4 months on Monday. I love my kids, and they're amazing, and all of those good things that moms think about their kids, but they also like to interrupt. They need a lot of attention. They're really pretty self-sufficient, but sorry, I just had a thought. I wondered if I could do like a cool backdrop, but I don't know how to do that. But at the same time, they still need me, and they argue, and they need a referee, and they need to be told what to do. And, for a season, it was like having to do homework and stay on track with that. And then summer came, and we didn't have that to do. Joseph's schedule changes from one week to the next. And then June came, and Aiden has athletics practices. At this point, we have two different sports, and Riley has tutoring, and it's just all of these things. And I volunteer at church on Sundays and one day during the week, and I have PTO with the middle school, and we still have decisions that pop up every now and again. And it's just like all of the things. And this is why I wanted to be work at home, but I completely lost that huge block of time that I had when the kids were in school. And it's just been this frustrating tension point, making me angry sort of things. And I kind of had an epiphany probably 3-ish weeks ago. It just took me a little while to actually do the work for it. That, what I preach to you guys, what I preach to people in the group for coming to me and say, I don't have time. I was making it work, obviously. I was getting either exceeding my PRV goals. We had director numbers 3 months in a row. I was doing the minimums and getting it done, but I felt like I was totally in this brain fog situation and never knowing 1 minute to the next what I'm doing. And I literally just bumbled my way through it. And the Lord has smiled on me, and we've had success in that. But I have bigger goals, and bumbling my way through was not going to help me get there. And some of you may kind of feel the same way, that there's just not a lot of time. There's not a lot of things, you're on the struggle bus with me. of what to do. So what would I preach to you? And this is kind of where I was, you know, doing all my thinking in the shower because it's the only quiet time I get. You know, if I had one of you guys come to me and ask me these questions, what would I tell you to do? And I would tell you to work in the nooks and crannies. We all got nooks and crannies. We've got 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Some of you guys are like, no, I don't either. I don't have nooks and crannies. Yeah, you do. You may not see them because you're doing other things in those nooks and crannies. So first and foremost, you're going to have to decide that your business is a priority, that it's important enough to do some work. If you're not even going to make that decision, you're not going to grow. You're not going to improve. You're not going to get better. It's not going to get easier. You have to decide that it's priority enough to do the things, okay? You also need to decide where your boundaries are so that you have margin for the other things in life. I'm trying to decide how to. That's a whole lot of the rest of my house that y'all don't need to see. It's because it's a mess. Anyway, so you have to make those decisions. It's got to be a priority, but you've also got to be able to set your boundaries and find your margin, okay? And by setting your boundaries, I'm talking about you decide when you're going to work. You're going to say, it's important that I work, and this is when I'm going to do that, because not only are you communicating to yourself that that's when you're going to work, you're going to communicate that to everybody else. You're going to let your family know this is when I'm going to work. Because, you know, and honestly, we do work smoother if we've got a block of time. But even if it's not, you're going to announce to your family, hey, I've got 10 minutes right now. I'm going to go do 5 follow-ups. And that's their trigger to leave you alone. Riley wanted me to look at something today. She was pretending she was a peacock. I was working on Amy follow-ups. I said, Mom, I can't right now. I'm working. And it's hard to do. And, you know, you got a little mama guilt. You got a little mama heartbreak going on. It's not going to damage my child that I didn't look at her playing with the feather duster. Okay? She's fine. She probably doesn't even remember it at this moment. And it was literally 4 hours ago. You know what I mean? So if you need to do that where you announce to your family, if you have to go in the bathroom and lock the door, or in the pantry and lock the door to get it done, do that thing. Okay, so you need to have priorities and you need to have boundaries, and so you have the margin. Another thing for boundaries is there's only certain times that you talk to team members, and there's only certain times that you talk to customers. And you communicate that. Or at least if you don't have big blocks of time, you let them know, hey, I may not answer you right back, but I promise you I will get back to you when I have a few minutes to work my business. And you make sure you're telling your team members that repeatedly, you know. And also, whenever you reply, don't apologize for not responding immediately. If they have a problem with it, that's their problem. You just respond when you can. And I'm telling you, if they come back at you with it, it's like, you know what? I wouldn't work my business. That wasn't my office hour. I didn't have margin at that point, or I was doing my other thing. But don't apologize for it, because it's not an apology sort of thing. There's no such thing as a sense of emergency, and no one should expect you to respond like that. Just because we can doesn't mean that we have to, okay? It's perfectly okay to respond, answer questions, do your thing on your time. That's the whole purpose of having this kind of business, okay? So priorities, boundaries. Number 3, and this is where it's going to take you a little bit of time up front, but you can so totally do it. And I can't tell you what the answers are, because your business is not my business. Everybody's business is different. Everybody does different things. Everybody runs it differently. There may be guidelines, and if you need some guidelines, I can help you with that. But you also have to keep in mind that, you know, I'm dealing with a team of 55, and you may be dealing with a team of 2 or 20 or 15 or 10 or whatever. So it might look a little bit different, or it might be that what takes me an hour and a half takes you 15 minutes. Okay? So I want you to take some time to write down the things that you do daily or the things that you need to do daily. And daily is kind of always the same. And I'll show you what's this. This is the daily. Check email, log numbers, I put interact with team so I don't forget, because I'm starting to schedule things. So I need to remember to go check my groups. I also interact with customers and friends. So when you're social mediaing, which is a time suck, I'm telling you. If we did less Facebook and less Netflix, we would have more than enough time for our business. Interact. So when I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see a customer or a friend post something, comment something, react to it. Don't just internally react, actually react. And then ask one person to host or share and ask one person to join. So those are the dailies. Every day, I'm checking my email, I'm logging my numbers, I'm interacting with people that are important to me personally and important to my business, and I'm sharing the opportunity. The other thing I want you to do, I want you to make a list of the things that need to get done every week. And that may be different. Every week, I didn't even put check workstation down because I check the workstation like totally OCD. But if you're not in the habit of checking it, you need to write down to check it either daily or weekly. I would say, you got the news tab you got to check on. Maybe you're going to schedule posts every week. And if you're hurting for time, I would highly recommend doing that. Y'all, I took the time tonight while Joseph was making dinner, and I scheduled a week's worth of posts for 3 different groups and pages. 2 groups in a page. I didn't schedule a ton. It's at least 1 post a day for each of those entities. And I think it took me 45 minutes, maybe. It didn't take long at all. Took me longer to find the images and save them because this computer that I'm on now doesn't have a nice library full of images like my other computer did. So I had to go find some of those. But for real, 45 minutes, and I scheduled it for 3 different things. So that is definitely something you can do. It doesn't have to be done in one block. You could do 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there and 5 minutes there. That's the key. If you don't have the block of time, and I know a lot of us do not, either you're working another job, you've got kids, you've got a spouse, or you don't feel good, or you're dealing with an illness, or you're traveling, or whatever the case may be, we're all kind of sort of working it in nooks and crannies here and not in big blocks. So write down what you want to do every day, write down what needs to get done every week, and write down what you do monthly. The thing with that is the things that consistently have to be done need to go into some sort of system. I don't care what system you use. Nobody cares what system you use. The key is to find the system that works for you and that you're going to use. For me, it's pen and paper. Or my host team mentor, it's a computer or her phone. There are apps for that. There are computer programs or software for that. There is pen and paper. And if it's pen and paper, maybe it's a planner. Maybe it's a to-do list. Sorry, there's the to-do list. I haven't figured out exactly what I want to use, so I'm testing out a couple of different things for this month. But the important thing is that you have it written down so you don't forget to do it. And I think you will find if you write the important stuff down and you keep track of making yourself do those things first, you're going to find that you have more margin to do some of the little extras that you might want to do. And I'm not talking about financial margin. That's a whole other conversation. I'm talking about you're telling me that you can't follow up with 15 people because you've got to do this other thing first, or you've got to do that other thing first. At the root of everything, all we're doing is communicating with people. I do regular emails. I do regular texting. None of it takes me a long time, But when I would sit at my computer to work, I didn't know what I needed to do first because I had so much jammed up in my head that I wanted to do. I'm like, I've got to get this written down. And I've done it in the past, but in the past, I haven't had trouble remembering it. Y'all may remember seeing this was another way to do it. I did bullet journaling. I've got 3 travel journals in here. Actually, I've got 4. But I had, today I had the week and I had the month. And my month was color-coded. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, tired. It was color-coded by when in the month I wanted to get it done. And then I had one in the back that was bigger projects. And it's literally, that's really not a good page because it's not different colors. So this is old. But that was a February list. And it was coded by and organized by relatively week 1, relatively week 2, relatively week 3, relatively week 4. And that worked really well for me at the time. A weekly was something like this. I've had, all consultant training call. And this was when I was being better about watching Elevate. It was when Allison was being more consistent with online steps to success. And I have, customer follow-up, a team training, placing an order, doing deliveries, and cleaning my office. I mean, it sounds asinine. It's like, do you really have to remind yourself to do that? Yes, I do. Kids are taking up my entire brain. And then my daily checklist. Check-in email, check-in workstation, login numbers, post into groups, messaging team members. So, if that works for you, if that floats your boat, by all means, use it. And I can share this document with somebody if they want it. This is actually pretty cool, and I think this would be really good for a lot of you because it's so simple. I mean, you personalize everything here, again, knowing what you want to do weekly. It's broken by week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I think it's loosely based on one of Chloe Cox's systems because week 1 is focused on my business. Week 2 is mentor team. Week 3 is my business check-in. And then week 4 is team business check-in. So that's really cool. It would probably be really abbreviated for you guys. But what's really awesome, and it may not, maybe you do all of these things too, but you've got all these week 1 tasks here. And then this is every month of the year. And I haven't actually been marking this one off yet. I've been using the other one in my planner. But I mean, that's a snapshot of your whole year right now. And you know what you've done and what you haven't done. So you know what to do when you sit down to do your work. Now, I am trying to get more of this going on because I like planners. But it was still kind of a struggle for me. I got that laying in there. If y'all saw my tip this morning or this afternoon on the other group, it was about keeping track of that. So that's laying in there so I don't forget. This is the Scentsy planner. It's loosely based off of a Happy planner. Whatever planner you've got. My way of doing things is the things that are time bound get written down in here. So I've got director call. I've got message Jamie because that was something new I needed to do on Monday. Honestly, I spaced it. It was Tuesday. My planner tells me days. Yesterday was rock and roll day. I wish I had planned something cool and fun. That's the direction I'm trying to get to be able to do things like that. But I had cross country practice for Aiden, and it's color coded. Aiden's one color, my church stuff's one color, my Scentsy stuff's one color, my Casey stuff's one color, and Riley's a color. And then family stuff is another color. Poor Joseph, he got to keep up with them himself. I can't do it. I just assume he's not going to be here from 6 in the morning to 6 at night. But cross country, I have a phone call with Christina every Tuesday. Aiden's got basketball practice, and Riley's got tutoring. So I write those. If it's time bound or it's new, it gets written here. Okay. And then I've got my daily checklist. That's a tab. And I've got my week 1 checklist. And look at all those things that are crossed off. Joy and happiness. And I laminated them so I can keep using them. I don't have to reprint it every month. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to wipe it clean. I'm going to pull it out and I am going to flip straight to August and slide it right into August 1st, the first week of August. So I don't have to think about it next month. It's already done for me. That's what's going to work for me, I think. And that's what I needed. That may not be what you needed. Amy Mark Charles has just a running to-do list. She has just a simple notebook, plain old notebook. Doesn't even have to be one with pretty lines on it. She literally has a notebook. She writes in the notebook everything that needs to be done. When she gets something done, she marks it off. When she thinks of something else that needs to be done, she writes it down. And she just has pages and pages and pages and pages of this to-do list. It's brilliant because that's what works for her. Christina has an online, she uses, and I'm bringing her up because she and I had the same conversation today when I was helping her out at church. Which I usually do. I'm just saying, this is just an example of how my schedule changed. Usually I do that on Thursday. This week it was Wednesday because I'm going out of town tomorrow. But she mostly uses her calendar. So she's got blocks of time in her calendar. It's an Outlook calendar for the things that she wants to get done. So there's, Monday she's doing thank you notes, and Tuesday she's doing something else. I don't remember. I didn't look at everything that was in there, but that's mostly what she uses to remind her to do things. And then she's also got a to-do list that's electronic. And every Monday, that's kind of her Monday ritual. She gets into the office and she starts filling in everything she wants to get done that week. That's totally fine if that's what works for you. Megan and I have actually been talking a lot about this. She got a planner she's super excited about. Maybe she will share more of that with us after this. But the one thing that I'm missing in mine that I haven't quite figured out, that's all of the must-dos. That's all of the consistent things. It does not include other things like making postcards in Canva, or, they're kind of wrapped up in other things that have to get done. Like, I can't do my mailers until samples are made and bagged and tagged, and I've done this, that, and the other thing. So I'm just kind of leaving that as it is. Excuse me. But like this week, I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, the project for sending an email to former consultants. That's something that's going to crop up every now and again, but it's not going to be an every month sort of thing. I need a place to write that down, and I haven't figured out what that place is. I think I know, but I don't know for sure. There's room on those tabs to write it down, but I laminated them, so I can't write on them very well. So I'm still figuring that out. I do have something else that can go in the Happy Planner, and I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to use. The point isn't what I use. If you want more information about what I'm using, I'm more than willing to share. I did not invent this wheel. I found the tabs on the director page, and I really liked them. Like I said, the Scentsy Planner is loosely based off the Me and My Big Ideas Happy Planner, and I used to do Happy Planners, so I had the punch, so this worked super duper well for me to see how it goes. And you've heard me say it before. When you have a system and you use it, it makes all the difference in the world. And it does for me too. And it may not even always be in productivity, but a lot of it is just like right now, I'm going out of town tomorrow, so I worked really hard the last couple of days to get some stuff done. And now I don't even know that I have to take my computer with me when I go out of town. And it's such a relief off my shoulders, because the stuff that's down here for week 1, I can't finish. I've got some other things that have to happen that, I'm having trouble finding jewelry bags for my samples. And it's not going to happen. It's going to have to be something that gets done early next week, which means the tab won't move, just so you know what my system's going to be. But it won't move until everything's done. But I don't know that I'm taking my computer. And it's kind of like, I got everything done by Wednesday. Why can't I do this every month or every week? I can. I just have to be focused and intentional when I am working. Honestly, I can't get it done every week. I got lucky. Joseph was home Monday, and he was home half a day today. and he got home at about, I don't know, 2 o'clock yesterday. So I took advantage of that and I worked because I was going out of town. It's not always going to work that great, but we also came up with a plan with the kids. So I am mostly available in the afternoons now, just so y'all know. But that's just what I want to tell you guys, because when you are in a busy season, things can start to pile up. You can start trying to feel really stressed out. You can feel like you're not doing all of the things properly. You can feel like you're not doing it all well. Stuff's going to slip through the cracks. And you're going to start feeling burnt out. You're going to start feeling frustrated and irritated and mad. And you're going to get behind, and you're not going to know where to start to get caught up. It is in my nature to procrastinate. And as a result of that, I end up behind more often than not. So being behind is a very natural state for me. So at this point in my almost 44 years, I don't panic about it. I will get frustrated and I will get angry, but it doesn't make me quit anymore. It's just like I either pick up where I left off, I start something different to keep it from happening in the future, or, you know, sometimes it's a matter of I just abandon the things and say, well, you know what, they're just not getting done, and I move on. But the point is, you guys are really killing it. You're really doing some amazing things. Our numbers have been absolutely mind-blowing, particularly the last couple of months. And you're doing some great things as leaders, and I'm so very proud of you, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed and frustrated with it, because this is just the beginning. I think the fall season is going to be even bigger and even better. And as leaders, I think we need to prepare for that, prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally and physically to handle what is coming, so that we can set the example for our team members. Which brings me to another point. I really want you guys to pick up that mantle. And if you know somebody that's struggling, or if it's somebody who's making that I don't have time conversation, approach them and say, you know what, that is a struggle that a lot of consultants have. We just talked about it in our developing leader group with Heather. And, you know, her advice is to find a system and to use it, because, you know, she's got, and you can lay out all the things I've got going on. I've got 2 kids at home. I've got a husband on a crazy schedule. I have a child in multiple sports. I'm a PTO mom. Technically, I'm still a PTA mom. What else do I have? I co-own a cabinet shop. I volunteer at church. Use me as the example of somebody who has a lot going on and a lot of pulls on her time, and say that I have had to go back to the basics. I have had to go back to working my business in the cracks of time that I can find here and there. And, you know, I am not going to have blocks like I did this week, every week or every month. There's literally going to be, you know, moments where, I mean, right now I'm working when the kids eat lunch. I'm not eating lunch with them. That's when my work day starts. I'm eating lunch, or they're eating lunch. They have a chore they have to do, and then they have to go play and leave me alone. That's my block, which should work until there's a fight, or there's an injury, or there's a question, or 1,000, or somebody needs a snack. So even that block is not going to be uninterrupted. But now it's written down, so I know what to do when I have the minute. And, you know, honestly, I just, you know, we don't have tens of thousands of team members. None of us do. So there is no excuse for not being able to do this business. And if you don't have a team that you're working with, all you're doing is working on sales and working on parties and offering the opportunity, you really have no excuse. You know, and if you don't, you need to get your app, you need to get your phone out and have it tell you how much time you're spending on it. And are you spending that time working? Or are you spending that time scrolling and watching funny cat videos? We all do it. But don't come to me and tell me you don't have time to be a Scentsy consultant and make money and help your family or do whatever it is that was your reason for joining, and you're spending more time scrolling and watching than you are offering. You know, if you're going to be on Facebook, you might as well be on there and trying to make some money. Okay. And for me, scheduling is a big deal that I'm doing more of, because I don't know what the fall holds. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be needed more at school or less at school. I don't even know 100% that my kids are going to be at school. At this point, anything can happen. And I need to be prepared for that. And I need to be prepared for going back to what we did in the spring. And if you're a mom, you do too. I'm just saying. I don't know any information, but I also know that I really want this trip. I want the family trip. We're going to need the family trip come next summer. And it's going to be real nice to go on one that's free. But if you have any needs, if you need help, if you want more details, then by all means, reach out. It's really not that complicated. And I think that is a struggle that a lot of new consultants have, and consultants who really, they don't even know where to start, even though, sorry, my phone's talking to me, my watch is talking to me because I have not done my exercise yet today. It doesn't have to be that hard. It's getting out your phone and doing something with it for 15 minutes a day, and it can be 5 minutes that you sit on the toilet. I'm just being real, y'all. There have been times I have shut myself in the bathroom to send a couple of text messages. I haven't locked myself in the pantry, but I've thought about it. I've locked myself in a bedroom to run a meeting. I remember when I worked a Benchmark group, Megan and I would spend our lunch breaks working on Scentsy business. We would listen to trainings. I would take my 15-minute breaks to label catalogs. It can be done, but you have to set the priority. You have to decide that your business is priority enough to do the things. Then you've got to create boundaries and margin to do the things, but I promise you can find the time. And you need to be intentional, and that means creating some sort of a system so you know what to do when you have those 5, 10, 15, 20, 30-minute increments. Okay? It's a message that I've given before. It's a message I will give again, but it really is transformative for your business to make that decision. This is my business. It is going to be a priority. I am going to set boundaries on myself too. I'm going to limit how much time that I'm non-productive on my phone. I'm going to make sure my family knows it's work time so that I can have time that's not work time for them. And then I'm going to know what to do when I sit down to do it. Okay. I love you guys. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Have a wonderful week. We get to do mid-month shout outs in a couple of days, and I'm excited. I love y'all. I am super, super duper excited about this coming season. As leaders, every single one of you should be already registered and excited about SFR. If you didn't register, you're going to miss out. That was due last Friday. I'm saying this as y'all are going to watch the recording on Monday the 13th. And every one of you should be trying to earn that trip. I have looked at it from essential consultant to superstar director, and I confidently feel that everybody could get level 1. I'm going to do some emphasis on recruiting. We have a group, the Jumping a J Month group, that we are watching a training in there, which may be the reason the computer goes with me because I need to do this week's. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff on getting those higher PRVs, on recruiting, because I want each and every one of you to have an opportunity to take a free vacation next year. God forbid COVID-19 doesn't let up and we can't go on a vacation, since he will give us something good to make up for it. Of that, I am confident. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye.